Here you get a look, folks, at the entire 2017-2018 Saline wrestling team, and it appears Zach Sabin actually has his gear on. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to be out there rocking and rolling first for the Hornets. Will be Zach Sabin, folks. Zach Sabin is actually a sophomore, I believe, and he actually plays football, and he was a defensive tackle, a very good defensive tackle at that. And he's one of those guys that Coach O'Brien really feels like can kind of carry the torch after guys like Hartman, Corona, Jalen Corona, who's another senior. He was honored here at senior night too, but Sabin looks like he's about ready to rock and roll here. Good takedown. Kraft is struggling. A lot of times in wrestling, folks, it's all about the leverage of the low man sort of win. So that's why you get kids that are 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", who are a little bit stockier, but because their lower center of gravity is so low, they're really good at producing all their power from their lower body, which is where a lot of those wrestling moves and a lot of those wins end up coming from. He's doing a really good job of forcing Bloomfield Hills after that brief 4-0 spurt that they got off to. They're really struggling to get anything going in the offensive zone. That press and Saline size seems to be really upsetting the balance of that offensive rhythm. What's even more encouraging is they're getting offense and scoring contributions from people that don't always score. Yaklich has a couple points, Evan has a couple points, but other guys, Arico had the 3 earlier, Tarek with the 2 free throws. Guys that don't always score are really contributing, and that's a really good thing to see here for the Hornets. I told you about that stretch of death just a little bit ago. The one thing with the Hornets was that last year especially, they started off the year really, really well. But they kind of slowly but surely faded as the year went on, and that stretch will determine whether, frankly, they're competing for the SEC Red Championship or if they're kind of with Monroe and Bedford in the middle, the lower tiers of the conference. See Ryan Grill check in, got some extended minutes here. First half. He's not really seen the court much in the second half, but I'd be surprised if he came out for the rest of the game. 6 minutes left. Needs to familiarize himself a little bit more with the court. Be guard against the inbound here too. It's called on a foul, and Bauer is going to go to the line. She can make both of these. It's a tie game. This is very big, especially we are just about 5 minutes away from the conclusion of the game here, so points are at premium. You may not know the 1-and-1 is different from the 2 free throw scenario. Is with the 1-and-1, if the player misses the first free throw, the opposing team has the chance to rebound it, whereas with the 2 free throw scenario, if the player may miss the first free throw, the opposing team is not able to rebound it. These are the kind of games that you'll love. We've been treated, ever since we came on here with the girls basketball game against Belleville, that was a phenomenal game. Plymouth was a 2-point victory in favor of the Hornets, and now we got another phenomenal game. We've been treated to a weekly dose of some phenomenal basketball games, and I don't know about you, Patrick, but really excited to see how this one turns out. The thing you got to do here is, if you're Slade, is you cannot allow the 3. You cannot allow an open 3 look. You got to force them to go inside. You got to force them into a tough shot, because worst comes to worst, they score 2 here. It's still tied. You still fight for overtime. You still fight for the last possession, and it's a completely different story trying to play to win. I mean, you're playing to win in both instances, but if you're playing down, a lot of times you have that tendency to become more desperate. But offense has been a premium tonight, folks, as you can probably see. 33-31 game, and real question is offense going to prevail here, or is it going to be like the theme of the rest of the night and really struggle with any sort of offense? Coach Foslick's going with the big package. Emmett might slide down to power forward here. He's 6'4", and Heisler's one of the tallest kids on the team. So it appears that they're going to try to go with the new lineup change to combat some of Plymouth's size. It's a very good second quarter by the Hornets. Not as great of a first quarter, and there's definitely some things that they'd like to clean up. But as long as they continue to play with the tenacity and aggressiveness of offense and defense, they're in really good shape. I think carrying the momentum into the third quarter is going to be really big for Saline. Obviously, they came out in that second quarter and pretty much dominated Plymouth. Plymouth came on toward the end there, but they really wanted to win, and they really want to be. You got to sustain 4 quarters of good basketball. You can't have 2 or 3 good quarters and 1 subpar. Because to beat Ann Arbor Pioneer, to beat Ypsilanti, to beat all the Ann Arbor schools, to beat Milan, you're going to really need a lot of those 4-quarter good games. I think that's part of it. I also think that they're trying to go fast. They're trying to get to the hoop really quick, trying to get those fouls, but they are struggling a little bit, especially with that 2-3 zone and with Belleville's length. They're sometimes forcing passes where passes don't necessarily need to be forced, and Belleville's making them pay. Whenever a point is awarded, they are to extend their arm. So let's say Pioneer, maybe represented by red here in this instance. If the Pioneer wrestler is awarded 2 points, the referee is going to raise his right arm in this case because it has the red band.